Hello everyone. We will start the session for today. Welcome everyone for the talk series 4.8. I'll just introduce our moderator for today, Dr. Nick Russo, International Liaison Manager for the MECS program. Dr. Nick has over 20 years of experience of working in UK government, and his final role was Head of International Innovation Strategy as Department of Business, Innovation and Skills. Nick led the innovation stand for Newton program and government to government policy dialogues. And Nick's consultancy, Unconventional Connections, focuses on innovation, collaboration, included work funded by DFID on harnessing the UK's strengths in clean energy technology to increase access to clean energy in Africa and Southeast Asia. So with this, I welcome Dr. Nick to the session, and Dr. Nick, you can take the session forward from you.
Thank you, Satyam, and thank you for your kind introduction. I'm going to start by sharing my screen. Hello to everyone. Let me just get this going. Okay, you should surely see my screen. Okay, let's just let this open. So today we have a very interesting session. I'm sure many of you have been to these talk series before, covering all sorts of topics relating to the introduction and expansion of electric cooking or modern energy cooking across India. But we have increasingly been taking an international perspective on these questions because many of them apply elsewhere. And Finovista, who deliver our work in India on behalf of the MECS program, is now partnering with Gamos East Africa to bring a wider range of voices and a broader experience to these sessions. And I think it's really adding a lot of value, and as well as enabling dialogue between people in different countries. So today we're talking about community champions and providing opportunities for people in grassroots settings to take on a role to support clean cooking adoption, working particularly through self-help groups, SHGs, SHGs, and other women's groups. So it's very much a win-win, as we're seeing it, for people to get involved in this and to be part of the big shift towards a more modern lifestyle and modern kitchens. MECS is a program that's been running for 11-year program. Sorry, it's been running since in India since 2020. And we work with partners, many partners across the space to help identify how electric cooking and other modern energy cooking for fuels can take shape and be expanded in the country. And India is where I lead the work, and Finovista, as I say, is our country partner. The talk series has been running practically since the start. We try to do one roughly every month on a whole range of topics. They're all available on YouTube if you want to see some of the back issues. And it's also an opportunity both to listen, to contribute, to ask questions, but also to connect with fellow members of the growing modern energy cooking community. And I'd encourage you all to use the chat functions to introduce yourselves, give a little bit of a background about who you are, give your contact details, and invite comments and connections. So I think it's really helpful and important that people talk to each other, learn from each other, and grow together. And obviously the session today will have a very impressive set of panelists. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, with different experiences, as I say, across India and Sub-Saharan Africa. But we're going to start with someone who I've worked with for quite a few years now, Dorothy Awor Otieno. I suspect I'm not pronouncing that right. Apologies for that, Dorothy. She is the founder and CEO of Neolori Impact Limited. So she's a dynamic social entrepreneur, and Neolori Impact Limited, that she founded and runs is a woman-led social enterprise reshaping how communities in Kenya cook, live and thrive. WA is celebrating 10 years since founding Nyalore Impact, from her roots in rural Kenya to leading what is now a nationally recognised clean energy enterprise, and an organisation that MECS has worked closely with on a number of occasions. Awar's work is a testament that clean cooking is not just about energy, it's about dignity, health, justice and opportunity for every household. And that's something that I think we feel very strongly about. There's a lot more than just sort of technology and new systems. It's about people and their lives and trying to help improve their lives. So I will, without waffling any further, hand over to Dorothy, or do you prefer to be called Awar? I'm not sure, to give us an introductory presentation. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Nick. I hope I'm audible and you can hear me clearly. Please confirm.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So I hope you're going to share my slide.
I'll just share your slides. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So as he shares my slides, thank you so much, Nick, for that introduction. Just a brief about my presentation today. Nyalore Impact, as Nick has said, this is a woman-led organization based in Western Kenya, and we have an experience of 10 years. As today, we have worked across households, institutions, and community groups, including the refugee and rural settings. Today, my presentation is going to be focused on Kenya, our lessons in Kenya, and the training of trainers model for eCooking. Next slide, please. So in Kenya, over 85% of households still rely on firewood and charcoal, despite the growing access of electricity. The fear of new technologies, cultural cooking practices, and a lack of local support slows adoption, and women influence most of the cooking decisions in household, making them very critical to sustain behavior change. Nyalore, next slide, please. Thank you. So Nyalore Impact works with existing women groups. We also work with community networks and selected women who we train as trainers of EPCs, induction cooking, safety, cost management, and peer learning. Then the trainers, the trained trainers then train others locally, reducing the reliance that we experience from time to time on increased staff to do this work. So we leverage on the women that we train. Next slide, please. The training of trainers is a hands-on and very focused exercise on cooking every day, especially our traditional or cultural foods that are common meals in Kenya, such as githeri, ugali, and peer learning builds this trust, especially when trainers speak the local language of the group that they are training, or we have trained a trainer who they know in the community and they trust. So it makes it very easy for them to understand the daily realities, and the ongoing mentorship that we provide becomes more efficient than a one-off demonstration that many times we tend to do. Next slide, please. When women are trained as e-cooking champions, they earn an income because we train them also to be able to cook for other women who may not be connected to the electricity. And so this becomes like an economic activity that they are able to carry out when they graduate as our trainer of trainers. And the Kenya means that they are able to offer to the households that they offer this service to, are able to see firsthand the benefits that come with e-cooking, and the qualified trainer of trainers then find an economic avenue to generate revenue. They also offer outreach services to those places that we cannot reach and to the other communities. They are also able to offer after-sales services. So some of them transition into our sales agent, and they are able to offer the aftercare services of those customers who may need a repair service in our clean cooking solutions that we are bringing to the market. So this strengthens adoption and empowers women to go beyond just demonstrations and training. Next slide, please. So communities within with the women champions in our learning show that there's a higher uptake of our products when the trainer of trainers go to do the outreach. It influences more women to trust and take up our products, and the drop-offs are really reduced because the feedback loops are also made stronger, and we see that the TOT model is very good and helps us reduce business costs while increasing our reach to many more women in the communities where we work. Next slide, please. Is this my last slide? Okay, thank you. So the training of trainers models is scalable, and we see that it is cost efficient, and it helps include women in the work that we are doing, and it should also be positioned as an enabler, not just looking at women as beneficiaries of the cooking appliances that we bring. So sustained e-cooking adoption will definitely require more investment in women-led communities, and to be able to help us also to build capacity of more women. So I want to call on all partners to support the TOT model because of the benefits that I've just shared. Thank you so much, and over to you, Nick.
Thank you, Dorothy. That is amazing. As moderator, it's a great pleasure to have someone who keeps exactly to time. So very much appreciated, Dorothy. And I think you've covered the main points really well. And I think we 100% endorse what you're saying about the benefit. Like I say, it's a win-win. The women can benefit and they can pass that on to others in the community. And it can all help to drive change and improvement for everyone. And there's experiences around the world of this. So I think we're going to hear now from 4 other speakers. They're going to bring different perspectives from a sort of policy, practice, experience point of view. Some active on the ground, some more about sort of setting up the systems that you need. but we've got a great richness in the room, so I'm sure you'll all benefit. I've been looking at the chat. There's a lot of AI assistants that are coming on board, which are presumably going to be taking notes and taking a transcript. But I also, just a reminder that if you would like to introduce yourselves, tell us who you are, give your contact details, and ask any questions or make any comments, feel free to do that. Teams also has a Q&A function, which you're welcome to use, and I encourage the panelists and speakers to keep an eye on these in case that you see any questions that you can potentially respond to online. Okay, let's move into the kind of more interactive part of the session. So our first panelist is Mr. Vipul Singh, who's the program lead manager at the Energy Efficiency Services Limited. Now, those of you who are based in India will probably have heard of ESL, but those outside maybe not. It is the organisation that specialises in bulk procurement, in aggregating demand, and in driving down the price of technologies and efficient energy products for the consumer. And they are the delivery body for the National Efficient Cooking Programme in India. And they've been particularly focusing on induction stoves, bringing large numbers of these into the market. Mr. Singh has led large-scale projects worth over 1,100 crore rupees in energy efficiency and renewable energy sectors. He has expertise including policy design, regulatory frameworks and portfolio management, and has worked closely with government departments, energy utilities and others. He's managed teams of over 120 professionals delivering projects under tight timelines, and his core strengths include stakeholder engagement, risk management and capacity building. So, Mr. Singh, would you like to turn your camera on? But I think you're now able to speak, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Nick, for such a good opportunity and speaking so much good about me. Well, I'm Vipul Singh. I work in Energy Efficiency Services Limited. I have been associated with the company for last 10 years. And in last 10 years, I have looked after several programs, basically working for the change at the grassroots level. Like the Ujala, we distributed 36 crore bulbs. Like street light, we converted all the conventional street lights, HPSV street light with LED street light in the country, that is approximately 1.5 crores. And there are several other programs. So very excited to be here and share my thoughts on the program about how the self-help groups in the communities can help promote this clean cooking program. Thank you, Nick.
Okay, have you got any statements you'd like to make to start with?
Yes, I would like to start with yes, we are talking about self-help groups. We have already been engaged with self-help groups in our country, and we have been working with them. Recently, we introduced a program called Urja Veer. So Urja means energy, and VEER stands for Volunteer Energy Efficiency Representatives. So it's an affiliate-based program where we engage with individuals, mostly SHGs, and they are the affiliate partners of ESL e-commerce platform, where they go and promote energy-efficient appliances, all the appliances, including this electrical induction cooktop in the community, and they earn money with that. So why we opted for go for SHG? Obviously, SHG are very well embedded in the community. They have very good links. They understand the environment, they understand the people, they understand the mindset. So yes, SHG would be a very good opportunity to expand this clean cooking program.
Thank you. And I'm interested that ESL, because you work with the multiple technologies, you're not just about cooking.
Yes.
I think the term you used was energy efficiency kind of ambassadors or something like that. So it's kind of, I guess it offers people a broader range of solutions to offer. Is that what you're?
Yes, yes, we do have several other products. We do in LED bulbs. We have energy efficient ACs. We have tube lights, energy efficient tube lights, and yes, there are several other products. And not these home appliances. We work in micro cold storage and solar street light also.
Okay. All right. No, just I hadn't thought about that as an option, but yes, it makes absolute sense. And if someone is going into a community and able to offer a range of different lifestyle improving solutions, and that can open up the conversation. Maybe we could come back to the sort of pros and cons of a cooking focused service versus a broader focus. Thank you. Okay, let's move on then. So I'll just make so you can see me briefly. Our next speaker is Mr. Abhimanyu Sahu. I suspect, again, I'm failing in the pronunciation. He is the Director of Access to Energy at Schneider Electric. Abhimanyu is a business leader with over 27 years of experience in the electrical industry, and he is responsible for the Access to Energy program in India, which has been scaled across 20 countries, providing access to green electricity to more than 50 million people. He has also founded and led the Schneider Electric India Foundation, which trained over 360,000 underprivileged youth through its vocational skill development programs, supporting more than 20,000 farmers with clean energy-based livelihood solutions, and electrified over 50,000 rural households through dedicated rural electrification programs. So you have a broad experience of empowering and enabling communities to change, and through the area of training. So very interested in your remarks. Would you like to share some slides, or would you like me to help with that?
Yeah, I think maybe, of course, I had sent you, one slides about this one, but before I think I go, and these slides were, the examples of some clay cooking things, okay? But I think, I will just introduce, so thank you first very much for introducing myself, okay? So I am with Schneider Electric almost now 22 years and involved in the Access to Energy program. And as on 2025, we have impacted lives of 60 million, including the numbers of 225 across Asia, Africa, as well as Latin America. And this Access to Energy program, in fact, the main reason is how we can provide safe and clean electricity, to the people who are facing challenges of electricity. And within that, in fact, when you look at the energy, correct, in fact, for the cooking is one of the things. And today, when you look at, although let's say around 700 people living without electricity, but if you look at cooking part, almost more than 2 billion people are still, do not have or are still using fossil fuel based cooking. Okay. And as a part of our Access to Energy program, yes, we do also focus on how we can provide clean cooking, solutions and we have some experience, but I think before I gave those, share those, let's say, examples of different pilots, what we have done, because again, still we are experimenting on the different, let's say, models, okay? But what I can see is, because when we think about the clean cooking through SHGs, because we have deployed quite large scale other clean energy solutions through SHG. For example, in India, we have done, I think, more than 1,000 solar irrigation pump, which is in fact benefiting close to 20,000 farmer families. Okay, and all these solar irrigation pumps were completely deployed through SHGs. The model is, the SHGs, it's a group of women, and they, in fact, our partner NGO reach out to them, explain them about the importance of solar irrigation pump and how it can transform their lives, correct? Okay. And then they form a group. In fact, they pay also, because if you look at a solar irrigation pump, it's not a small amount, okay? It's almost, let's say more than, I think, let's say today 500,000 means almost 5,000 euros, correct? Okay. Or US dollar, okay? So it cannot be, let's say, implemented by individually. So the group also, in fact, contributes some fund, and of course there is some funding from the CSR funding, correct? Okay, from the different donor agencies, and sometimes also there is some loan linkage, because the SHGs can take some loans also from the different financing institutions, and then this solution has been deployed. But I think in the context of, again, because when I look at it is almost the same, clean energy for irrigation, and here it is clean for cooking, okay? And when what we have learned is, yes, the role of SHG is very, very important because, and what we have seen, because initially it is very difficult, but the moment we demonstrate some success, one village, let's say few SHGs adapted, and then when the other villages see the success and the impact, okay, then it becomes very easy to explain to the other, women, okay, in the other villages, correct? Okay. Sorry. So the first, let's say, 2 years was really deep because in fact, this has been, I think, more than now 5 years, correct? Okay, of this program, and we're still continuing. And the learning is, in fact, whenever you try to adapt to new things, I think create some success models, correct? Okay. And the engagement of the community and particularly the grassroots is very, very important. Okay. And this has been really successful. But again, because this topic today is about the trainer. And what we realize is when we have implemented this solar irrigation pump, who is managing? Finally, we need to create local skill, to operate and also take care of some basic troubleshooting. So what we did is even we brought some youth from those community areas. They were well trained for 3 months, but they are, let's say, highly skilled resource to take care of the major technical challenges, correct? Okay. But for the day-to-day things, we have created a training center in the area where all this woman operator comes and get trained so that they are able to take care of the day-to-day operations, correct? Okay. So just to summarize, what I can see is the SHGs, because they can play a very important role because they are the people, in fact, are also cooking. Most of in India, the women are I think the complete cooking is managed by the women, correct? Okay. And the SHG member are 100% women, okay. And today, let's say they are quite linked to also, most of these are linked to National Rural Livelihood Mission, where they can have access to some of the funding. And when I see the clean cooking, let's say the cost of, let's say, an electric cooking stove, it is not such high, correct? Okay. So with the finance or the funding available, or the financing scheme which is available from to the SHGs, they can easily adopt. But I think what is important is the creation of the awareness, and I think that's where that leads to the another question, because SHGs are at the village level. You need to have an entrepreneurs who will be selling the solutions, because otherwise it is really difficult. Otherwise, what we have to do is, we have to create some farmer producer organization. But I think there are different, the focus area is different, okay. But I think if you create a network of clean entrepreneurs, okay, who will promote, and they can work closely with this SHGs to promote. So there is already, let's say, an entrepreneur who is selling, who is doing a business, and then they are linked to this SHGs. I think that could be a really model. And in fact, in Schneider Electric, in fact, we are having a very beautiful program, what we call Clean Energy Micro Enterprises. Today, we have a network of almost 500 clean energy entrepreneurs across India. And we have an entrepreneur incubation center based out of Bangalore, where every month we train. So they undergo a incubation program of 21 days. And then we have a dedicated team also, which is supporting these entrepreneurs in, let's say, establishing their business, making their business grow, correct, sustain and grow their business. I think entrepreneurship as well as linkage with to the SHGs, I think that will be really successful. And in fact, we'll be more than happy, because I think, I think there is a key takeaway, because we have this 500 clean energy entrepreneurs and who are working even in the remotest parts, okay. We can connect some of the SHGs, to this entrepreneur and ask them, okay, to promote this clean energy things, okay. And what we have done is we have done few pilots, particularly with the community center, as you know, in India, Anganwadis, and in Anganwadi, you always have a cook, and which is typical, mostly it's a woman who does the cooking for the schools, like the small, like those kindergarten students, okay, children's, okay. And of course, the government is giving LPG, but I have seen myself still there are many places, they don't get the LPG in the right time, okay, and they are forced to use cooking stove. In fact, last month I was in Jharkhand and I have seen those things, okay. And what we have done is we have implemented this clean cooking, the solar powered clean cooking solutions, okay, in those community centers. And I think it is really working well. Okay. Of course, I think when it comes to a very large school, it will be a challenge. But particularly this Anganwadis, which let's say cater to the maximum 30 to 50 school childrens, and that is very easy. And what happens is it acts also as a demonstration to the villages, because already 2-3 women are engaged in the in the Anganwadi, at least the teacher, then a cook, and other few. Okay, so they are already seeing the benefit and they are spreading this messages across the village. I think that's a model. But to summarize, the entrepreneurs, the SHG, correct, okay, and even the training of the SHG members, on the usage, I think that's really very, very important.
Right.
And
thank you.
You can just I will just take 2 minutes just showing some of those images of the pilot, if somebody can share the screen.
I think we need to move on, if that's all right.
Okay,
I'm sorry,
no problem. I've already spoken.
Yeah. Well, if you can leave your contact details in the chat, then people can reach out if they'd like to see the slides, because I think you're doing amazing work in schools to provide new cooking solutions. And I'm certainly keen to speak further with you about your work across India. So
sure.
Thank you for your remarks. I think it's a good point that you're making, that the self-help groups have access both to women. They're trusted in the community, but also they can sometimes access finance, which means they can offer small loans to enable people to obtain cooking appliances. I think there's a question I'm interested in, which we'll come back to maybe later, is how much training to provide for different people in different roles. You talked about sort of different depths of training for kind of after sales support and technical support and for the entrepreneurs. Okay, great. Thank you for that. I will now move us on to our next panelist, who's Florence Ndetti, who is the director at Caritas Kitui. They provide strategic leadership for community-driven development programs in Kitui County in Kenya. So she has extensive experience working with grassroots communities, particularly women's self-help groups, to strengthen livelihoods, build climate resilience, and advance sustainable energy solutions. Under her leadership, Caritas Kitui has spearheaded the promotion of eCooking in Kitui County through the Kitui eCooking Hub, serving as a host and knowledge-sharing platform nationally and globally, and working as a strategic partner to the MECS program. Florence is a member of the Public Policy Professional Society of Kenya and actively engages in policy dialogue, advocacy, and governance processes on climate, energy, and social development. So, Ms. Ndetti, we look forward to your telling us about your experiences. If you could unmute yourself and maybe turn on your camera. You're still muted, I think. Oh, there we are.
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. Like you've said, I'm Florence Ndetti, working for Caritas, which is the development department of the Catholic Church. We are based in Kenya, eastern regions, where we have a semi-arid zone, and in our work as development actors, we work closely with communities organized in self-help groups. As Caritas, we have looked at clean cooking at 2 levels. We have a program that is targeting the 3-stone users using biogas, and we promote what we call a rocket stove, which is a 2-burner stove that is energy efficient and uses less biomass. And we also promote e-cooking through the eCooking Hub, which we developed together with MECS. Our experience has not been different from what has been said, because we work through community groups where we organize them. We do demonstrations for the eCooking hubs, and this is limited because we only do to those who are connected to the national grid. And of course, the government is trying too much to do last mile connectivity to all households. But at that point, there's a challenge because the wiring of the households, most of our farmers or our groups that we work with, mostly women, prefer electricity for lighting. So that became an entry point of advocacy when we were doing the county energy plan, which was also informed by the government requirement for counties or devolved units to develop energy plans, informed by the National Energy Act of 2019. In our work, again, while working with communities, we also look at engage on policy work. I had shared a presentation, but I want to say that Kenya, we have very elaborate policy framework that supports this move of clean energy, starting with the Energy Act of 2019, which provides for mandate sustainable national energy planning and also enables clean and efficient energy systems. With that mother policy, we also have
I don't want to interrupt. Do you have a camera that you could turn on? I think people would find that helpful if you.
It's not turning on. I'm trying,
don't worry.
It is not turning on. Maybe you turn from your end. Yeah.
Satya, maybe you can help with that. There's some technical issue. Carry on. Apologies for interrupting you.
Okay. So we also have a gender policy on energy, which also gives us mileage when working with women and also men, because we want to move the discussion of e-cooking beyond the women agenda. Simply because the electric pressure cookers, the upfront payment is a bit high. Most of the women would require to talk their spouses to support them finance the electric appliances. And that has been, this policy gives us a milestone to engage in as we engage in e-cooking programming. We also have national climate change action plans, which have also been at county level. We participated in developing the county level climate change action plan, which we also had a bias on ensuring that priorities of low emission household energy solutions are prioritized at county level, because this is at the lower level is where the action happens. Then we also have a national energy policy, which commits to universal access to clean energy by 2030. 2030 is just about 4 years to go. It might not be realistic, but that has really been helping us to drive the process of moving towards less and less use of biomass and adoption of modern energy appliances. I want to move directly to the Kenya National Electric Cooking Strategy, which was driven at national level, but with a lot of consultation with county levels. This adopted a multi-sectoral approach where we had private sector, development partners, county representatives, communities, and it is a document that gives Kenya as a country a step forward to engage in e-cooking. And it is solely focusing on e-cooking, which is a milestone, but the limitation is we need to create awareness around it, so that even as we are working with the communities organized in self-help groups, we can be able to articulate the provisions in this strategy, which looks at how to enhance e-cooking and also general clean cooking at the lower levels. As a development actor, we also work closely with our county government, the devolved unit, to develop the county energy plan, which we began with a study to understand what do people need energy for. And unfortunately, energy for cooking was like item number 6. Majority of us, because of the rural nature of our area, don't prioritize energy for cooking. They prioritize energy for lighting and maybe charging phones and that kind of space. So this has been our platform to create awareness when connection is being done, and also connectivity at household level, especially the wiring, so that as they do the wiring, they also consider sockets for cooking. The policy gaps that we are experiencing at our level are high upfront cost of e-cooking appliances, which with like the e-cooking, we are targeting the middle class and also those connected to the national grid. And there's always a feeling that upfront payment is too much, but this is where we bring in the self-help groups, where people are in a group and they pay in bits. But that has not peaked yet. So we are there. We are at the initial stages of sensitizing people to pay slowly in groups so that they can access the appliances. With MECS, we were able to buy quite a number of those appliances. So we continue doing demonstrations, proving that its use of electricity is cheaper than using charcoal and biomass if you are connected to the national grid. Electricity affordability and grid reliability. Actually, the reliability is the issue. We have very frequent blackouts, especially where electricity has moved to the lower levels. Transformers bursting, taking like a whole year before they're installed, and such challenges. Limited consumer awareness and acceptance. There's still the myth that electricity is very expensive, we can't afford. So we are demystifying that by demonstrating and also working closely with every other person, stakeholders within our environment to increase uptake. Then fragmented institutional coordination, because we have many actors and every actor is trying to prove their space and there's nobody who is coordinating. So this is also sounds like competition in the sector. Then uneven county level implementation. Sometimes the county governments allocate resources due to priorities. Such resources are reallocated to other things. And where we are discussing partnership, it becomes a bit difficult to work on an initiative together with the government. So that is what I can say, but to emphasize on the working with community groups, it is workable. We've done it in livelihood programs and it is a success. So this approach is quite noble and should be enhanced. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. You're doing a huge amount of work in Kenya. It sounds like at every level, there's a lot of thought going into this. And it's interesting to hear how it's going at county level. I don't have much direct contact with that, but John and the team are very involved. So I'm glad to hear it's going well. But yes, there are always going to be challenges, and there'll always be people who have other priorities. Things that they feel are important, and maybe at the household level, the person who's responsible for the cooking has less of a voice sometimes. But I think things can change. And I was reminded of the gentleman from Schneider, who's talking about the power of word of mouth, and how if some people start to see the benefits of having electric cooking in their homes, then others can see it and discuss that within their own households. So yes, it's a complex web of factors that have to come together to achieve change. Okay, our last panelist is Ms. Rehena Riawala. Again, no doubt apologies for mispronunciation. She's the CEO of Grassroots Trading Network for Women and is also associated with the Self-Employed Women's Association. And she's been Vice President and Secretary of SIWA. She is currently she takes care of the Grassroots Trading Network for Women and SIWA's operations, which include activities that strengthen and provide green and sustainable livelihoods, capacity building, microfinance, social security, building resilience for poor women members from informal economies suffering from various disasters, including climate shocks and market shocks. So again, it's about the whole combination of services that are needed to help to drive change and achieve change. So, Ms. Riawala, you have some slides. Would you like to present them, or would you like us to arrange that? Oh, you're muted.
I'd ask the team to present that.
Okay, thank you. Satyam, can you do that?
Sure, I'll just present this.
So by the time the slides are opening, I'll just first of all, namaste and good afternoon, and thank you for this opportunity for considering GTNFW, that is Grassroots Trading Network for Women, and SEWA as one of the panelists. And like I'll just start with a brief on SEWA. Self-Employed Women's Association SEWA is a member-based organization of 3.8 million poor women workers across 18 states in India. We also have a presence in neighboring countries, and the profile of the members is that they come from more than 100 different trades, but then they have categorized into four major categories. So we have home-based workers, we have vendors and hawkers, we have small producers and manual laborers. And twin goals of SEWA is full employment and self-reliance. Employment and livelihood that provides with work security, income security, food security, and social security. And alongside that, we see to it that not only economic self-sufficiency is achieved, but then also look into that how does the decision-making power of the woman member also increases. So, like talking about the connect between informal economy workers, can we go to the second slide?
This one?
Yeah. The third one. I can't see it's moving.
Oh, right. Are you not?
Yeah. So talking about the connect between the informal economy workers, energy transition, and climate crisis, our Haryali campaign is a special purpose vehicle which works on addressing the issues of energy poverty and climate action, so that the climate crisis are mitigated and we work towards building the resilience of these poor women workers from informal economy, which would further lead to just and inclusive energy transitions for the poor women workers. Can we go to the next? So in Haryali campaign, as I mentioned, we are working on building the major initiatives which we are working on are building green villages, wherein we have identified clean and green energy technology solutions for household as well as trade related uses. We have like various DRE equipments and technology solutions like clean cooking solutions, solar trap lights, solar pumping, solar fencing, e-vehicles, and much more. So at Haryali campaign, we understand what are the needs and demands of the members, and we see to it that how does an affordable green technology solutions are accessible to these poor women workers from the informal economy. And once we pilot it out, once we look at that, that is the need of the members, then we also work towards collective bargaining and see that how can it be accessible to these poor women workers. And thirdly, we invest a lot in training and skill building. We collaborate with academia, skill councils, and related organizations so that green livelihood trainings are provided to the members, and the women members themselves are not just the users, but they are the owners, managers, implementers of the green energy solutions. And lastly, we also work a lot on various intervention for supportive policies with the state and central government, as well as we also disseminate information about those schemes with the community members as well. So talking about our methodologies and approaches, we work a lot, as I mentioned, ours is a very much demand-based, demand-driven and need-based solutions so that it emerge out of the community themselves. And we work towards the accessibility so that the need-based specification are met and the delivery are at the doorstep. Affordability, understanding the cash flows of the members, and we work towards the financial linkages or trade installments, how could it be taken care of? The linkages for the same as well. And we also train our members that how could the adoption be linked with their financial cash flows with reference to when they are going into adoption of the green and clean energy technology solutions. Then the community leaders, we train them as climate entrepreneurs and climate educators so that they are the one who are the driving force behind this green energy solutions, adoption of green energy solutions. The awareness education, again, these are implemented through by the community leaders as climate entrepreneurs and educators, and this is done through the collectives. It may be in the form of federations, groups, or cooperatives, but then we do it through the collectives. And it's not just the adoption is important, but then we also work towards the monitoring and evaluation and to measure the impact of this. And we work towards building a system and processes that leads to scaling up and sustainable ecosystem as well. So in each and every aspects, we involve the trained cadre of members or climate educators and entrepreneurs, and they are working towards increasing the adoptions, and then installation, services, maintenance, and repairs as well. So talking a bit on training of trainers and building a cadre of climate entrepreneurs and educators, we work in a way, we train them so that the scale could be done in a sustainable manner. And at the same time, we also link these trainings, the technical trainings, with entrepreneurship development and soft skills so that they are able to understand the needs of the members, and at the same time that would also work towards the green livelihoods for these climate entrepreneurs as well. They work towards creating awareness education and sustainable energy technology equipments, converting this awareness into demand generation and working towards the installation, repairs, maintenance, etc. of this at the doorstep, so that like if a community member has adopted the solution, then what happens if that is not working? So they don't have to go far off or wait for somebody to come from the company or the urban areas, but then the delivery is at the last mile, as well as at the same time the repairs, maintenance services could also be availed from the community itself, so that it makes the ecosystem more sustainable. We have a small video on how the adoption and scaling up is done through the community leaders, though this is more about all the DRE equipments, but then if I could request, that could be shown.
Sorry, do you mean the video on the next? I'm not sure we've got time for a video. Is it a quick?
Yeah, this is very quick, a 2 to 3 minute only.
Okay, let's see if everyone can see it if I open it up now. Is that becoming visible to you?
Yes. If you can turn the speaker on. By the time the video start, I'll just talk about, yeah, it is.
Sorry?
Yeah, it started.
Yes, is it okay? Can you all see it? I don't know.
Yes, we can see.
મારું નામ સરોજબેન છે. મારો ભૂતકાળ બહુ જ કપરો હતો. હું સવારે મજૂરીએ જતી હતી અને સાંજે ઘરે આવીને ચૂલા પર ધુમાડામાં ઘરની રસોઈ બનાવતી હતી. પણ મનમાં તો એવું હતું જ કે સારું જીવન જોઈએ છે અને મારે જ લાવવું પડશે. એ તો મારા બચત મંડળનો આભાર કે મને પ્રોત્સાહન આપ્યું અને હમણાં એલપીજી વસાવવા મને ધિરાણ આપ્યું અને હું એલપીજી લઈ આવી. આજે મારા એકલા ઘરે ચોખ્ખું રસોડું નથી. મારા જેવી 1500 બહેનોને ચોખ્ખા રસોડાની તક આપી. મારી દગસ વધી. મેં મારા ખેતરમાં સોલર પંપ નખાયો. એમાંથી મારા જેવા હજારો નાના ખેડૂત બહેનોને પાણી પહોંચાડ્યું. બીજા અમારી હું ના જોઈએ તો શું, પણ સૂરજ ને ધરતી તો અમારી સામે જોવાના જ છે. હું ત્યાંય ના રોકાય. મેં ઘરે ઘરે અજવાળા પહોંચાડ્યા. ફાગડી ગામમાં જ્યાં 100 વર્ષથી લાઇટ જ નહોતી ત્યાં આજે રાતે પણ અજવાળા છે. જો સેવા અને સૂરજનો સહકાર ના હોત તો હું ખેતરે મજૂરી કરતી હોત અને મારા જેવી હજારો બહેનો અને ગામડાઓ અંધકારમય જીવન જીવતા હોત. સંગઠિત હતા, મંડળો હતા તો આજે અજવાળા થયા. હજુ તો ભવિષ્ય અજવાળવાનું છે.
Thank you. That's lovely. Very inspiring. Well done. I'm conscious of time, I'm afraid. So I know you have some final recommendations. Could you just talk us through those?
Yeah. As we saw, the impact has been huge. It's not just only on the environmental impact, but then it is also on the livelihoods, women empowerment, and bringing in the women members in the in the value chain of green energy and technologies as well. And it also brings in the life of dignity and self-respect. Like the final recommendations and few suggestions which I'll be talking about is, of course, like as I mentioned, it should be based on the needs and demands of the members. The pilot testing should be done, and post that, and that should bring in the understanding of the members and incorporate the needs. And so the design should be accordingly done. And at the same time, affordability is also very important. And we need to invest in the community-based organizations like grassroots trading network for the women to bring in understanding the members' need, awareness education, technical trainings for the usage and scale up at the community level, training of trainers linked with livelihood generation and entrepreneurship, and easy and how could the linkages for the adoption with easy and simple financial linkages could happen. And this would all bring build a sustainable ecosystem. So these are the major suggestions and recommendations which we would. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No, I'm sorry. I'm conscious of time. We've come to the end of the hour. Some people may be able to stay on for a little bit longer, but I don't want to assume that. I think I'm pleased to see there's some use of the chat. Someone has asked for more details of the ESL initiative that was described, so there's a link there if you want to get more. But does anyone else have any kind of questions for the panelists that they would like to raise in the last minute or so? Yes, we have a hand raised from Dr. Oh dear. I'm not going to pronounce that at all well. Apologies. Do you have a question, sir?
Yeah.
One.
Unmute, please.
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, okay, fine. Thank you very much, Dr. Nick. This is Purushottam Sestra from Nepal, and I'm the former executive director of Center for Rural Technology Nepal, one of the national, the NGOs. I'm working in energy sectors like ICS and eCooking. A few questions, and first of all, I would like to congratulate, and it's very nice, presentations from the presenters. I have few questions to Madam Dorothy. That is the, cook stoves and appliances are available, readily available. That's one. And, so is there any incentives to the SHGs, for, the advertising for extending or outreaching this e-cooking? And and another question is, there any special incentive to the low income people, because in some countries and low income people also get some free of electricity units. So if there is any provision like that. And next is the Mr. Avi Manun has also addressed about the this loan, and actually I want to know what is the interest of the loan, and SHGs where are the SHGs interested to provide loan in e-cooking, because the loan size of the e-cooking is very small. And another thing is that is there any support from the government side? These are some of the few questions from me. Thank you very much. Thank you. Because we are running out of time, so I have to stop. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, no,
it's
so
really,
questions.
really nice.
Good. So
it's
some
very
questions
nice.
about.
It is really addressed directly to the SDG goals, that is the energy sectors. I like it very much. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. And give people some chance to respond. So are there incentives for the self-help groups to get involved? What access to finance is there? And is there support from the government? I think those are three questions that you can possibly answer. Any of the panelists might be able to provide a response to that. But Dorothy, do you want to start?
Yes, thank you, Nick, and thank you, Doc, for those questions. Yes, we give to the women whom we have trained and who are working as sales agent, we give them a commission of 500 for every unit sold. So this motivates them to continue selling even more. Unfortunately, in Kenya, we do not have any government support in our work. Thank you. Maybe Florence could add something too.
Sure, thank you. That's clear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think to answer this, Abhimanyu, I think there were the questions related to the self-help group. I think the interesting, what we have seen is in India, there are government, there are self-help groups who are connected to the national banks, and they have access to the finance, low-cost financing, almost at a rate of less than 12%. So the women SHG members can get a loan almost at very nominal rate. But if you take loans from a microfinance, because even there are SHGs which are promoted by microfinance institutions, and that goes to much higher, up to even more than 24% sometimes, or even more. So it depends, I think, because at least in India today, and there is a dedicated program by government, to support the SHGs by nationalized banks, correct? I think that could be a much better option, and because they have access to finance, and also these are small tickets. So because the SHG member can basically become a seller, it could be a revenue generating model for an SHG. So SHG can buy, let's say, cooking stove, and then they can sell to all the other village members, and that could be a revenue generating model for the SHG member, which could be, let's say, 10 women.
That's a very good point about how you make it of interest to self-help groups, and what their role is in this, and what your expectations are. I imagine and each self-help group will be different. There'll be a different group of women with a different leadership and a different mindset. So it'd be interesting to hear people's experience of how you select them, and whether they self-select. But Florence, did you have a comments chat. Oh, we can see you. Hello. Lovely. Did you hear the question? I'm not sure. I think you dropped out at one point. It was asking about the sort of financial aspects, and you're on mute, Florence. What's the support from the government? Are there loans available for people to afford the devices, and does the self-help group get some benefit or incentives involved? You're on mute, I'm afraid. Can you unmute yourself? Sorry, we can't hear you, Florence.
Yeah,
You need to unmute. That's it. Go. Try again.
Okay. We don't have loans from the government to support the self-help groups, but we have a model we call savings and lending for communities, where we have women between 10 and 15 to 20. They come together, they make savings on a weekly basis. Then collectively with the target to be able to buy the EPCs. And that is what is working, although on a very low scale, because there's no one, we don't have incentive from the private sector or from the government supporting the access to the EPCs, but we adopted the law.
Oh dear, you're frozen. Maybe the camera was too much. Okay, there's obviously different models and different approaches that need to take account of the local context and access to private finance, essentially banks and the like. Ms. Riwala, did you want to offer an experience?
Yeah, I just want to share that with reference to financials, as I mentioned, we look into it that supposedly if a member is adopting a clean cooking stove, then we see to it that what are the upfront cost of it, and then what would be the savings which she would be having through not using the kerosene or diesel in case of solar pumps and so on. And accordingly, we see to it that how could looking into their cash flows, we can have a financial linkages in a way that we do have our own savings and credit groups as well with Seva Bank and other nationalized banks as well. So through that, how can the loan be given, and then the installments could be like worked out in a way that it could be from their savings, and then at the end of the period they could be the owner of that particular equipment or devices. And talking about the incentivization, like we can if we link it with government schemes, if this linked with the government scheme, it could be incentivized in a way that because though a small contribution, but in a way they are also contributing towards the climate change. So how could the linkages be come up in the form of carbon credits or incentives? Because in biogas we had worked out with the vendors in a way that the carbon credits earned are negotiated with the upfront price of the biogas. So a biogas which is costing around 35,000 would cost around 12,000 to a member. So this is how over a period of year they would be receiving, it is linked with the carbon credit towards that. So this could also be a kind of arrangement. And at the same time with the climate educators and climate entrepreneurs, if they are working towards demand generation and adoption of this equipment's green and clean technology solutions, we also work out with a vendor or through an institutionalized manner, how can certain amount of commission or whatever we say could be linked with their livelihood, so that they would earn their livelihoods through these green technologies. So this is how like we have to be like based on the needs, demands and issues of the members, and it has to be very dynamic or say various strategies could be adopted for that.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so a lot of experience there. There's another question that's come up in the chat about working with health workers. Health workers exist in different contexts in communities and can offer advice. They're well respected and they can help, particularly mothers, maybe with their young children, and can help to advise and support people's choices around cooking fuel, particularly highlighting the air pollution aspects. Does anyone have any experience of working with health workers in a community context?
We work in a very integrated manner, and it's not just that the health workers or say, but then we do also we have the community-based SHs, that is Seva Health Ambassadors, and they work towards the health and wellness of the communities. And so like in an integrated manner, because they are from they are also from the community itself, and when we go into the villages, when we go into the communities, though we are working for the wellness and health related aspects, but then if we come across certain issues which are for the adoption of the clean cooking, we do link with them. And then the Seva Health Ambassadors are also not working standalone, but then of course, like we have the childcare centers wherein the ASHA workers would also come and at those childcare centers for the vaccinations and things like that. So our Seva Health Ambassadors are also working very closely with the government cadre of health workers. So it's all very linked and in an integrated manner.
Thank you. Mr. Sahu, you raised your hand. Would you like to respond? Conscious of time.
Yes, I think to I think answer this question also, I'll just like to add something, what Mr. Hannah has already said, because in our project, as I mentioned, we have done some pilot with Anganwadi, and if you look at in India, the Anganwadi is basically, it is preschools, and in fact, it is also they are providing the health for the children, correct? Okay, but I think they are quite big influencer. So any, I think, resources, who has a good influencing ability in the community, I think they will play a very important role. And in Anganwadi, particularly in Indian context, I think they play a very important role. So, okay, because they also have the responsibility to provide, food for the children, for the nutrients as a part of the government, the nutrient program for the children. They cook food in the center, and which are, so if they use cooking stoves, correct, e-cooking stoves, so they are also influencing the community. And I think any, let's say, influencing, let's say, community member, I think they can play a very important role.
Thank you. Yes, that does make sense. Okay, well, thank you all for your contributions. I think I think there's the consensus, if you like, that this is a really critical part of what we refer to as the jigsaw. And as I think was pointed out, there needs to be a kind of a cascade model, training the trainer and connecting local groups to entrepreneurs, to training facilities and to expertise. So it's a complex web that has to be built in countries as large as India and across sub-Saharan Africa. But I think it's really important that we have that focus on the very the most local level and then work back from that. So thank you very much. There'll be further talk series coming out shortly. Just to give a plug that we at MECS had a stock take last year of the situation in India. I'm working on publishing our findings and our recommendations going forward. I hope you'll be interested to review that, and we'll be discussing it. And we're planning our next MEC forum for the September. We will announce the date very shortly. So thank you all for your interest and participation, and I wish you all the best for the rest of the day and the rest of the week. Namaste and goodbye.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.